with. I have started recording for you. I will mail you. But make sure that from
Okay.
tomorrow you will be recording it. Okay, why? Because
Yeah.
I don't have that much disk space to record. That's it.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
fine. So
Sure, sure.
basically we are seeing the overview of AIX. What are the
Mm-hmm.
features that IBM AIX is going to provide? We are going to see all those things. Okay. So
Okay.
when I talk about IBM AIX, AIX stands for Advanced Interactive Exploit. Okay. So where in advanced A is highlighted and in interactive I is interacted. I mean I is being highlighted, and in execute access I AIX. This is the meaning. Okay, and AIX is one IBM version of Unix operating system. Okay,
Yeah.
there is an IBM version of Unix operating system. Here it is, and AIX IBM version of Unix competes with the Microsoft Windows Server operating systems and other proprietary Unix operating systems. Like we have a Solaris, we have a HP Unix, we have a true 64-bit Unix. So it is a strong competitor to this all operating systems, right? So of course, Windows is not competitor to AIX because it has a lot of differences, right? So if I compare even not even one feature, you can compare Windows with AIX. You will
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of differences there. And if I talk about Solaris or HP Unix, yes, we can compare because these are all Unix flavors. Definitely,
Yeah.
they're all on proprietary hardware. See, first of all, the security defines based on the proprietary only. Okay,
Yeah.
why? Because if it is proprietary only, the people are assured, people are confirmedly, they can say that their server is running from 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, 9 years also. There are so many AIX servers continuously running from 6, 7 years, not even single reboot, not even
Yeah.
single shutdown, not even a 1 single second downtime.
Yeah.
So such a kind of assurance Microsoft cannot give us. Even Linux cannot give us right now. I will ask. Even I will ask
Yeah.
Linux. Okay, that is the reason what Linux is doing. It is certifying all the hardwares. You can put
Yeah.
even Linux on AIX server also, even HP server also, even Solaris server also.
Yeah.
So like this they are using because the Linux doesn't have its proprietary hardware. That's the reason. Robustness is not there at the hardware level because
Right.
the problems raises most from the hardware only. Okay, that is the reason. So this is the advantage, and AIX is mainly used for enterprise business computing. So most of the times, people will talk about enterprise level business computing. What is this exactly? Enterprise level. So if I talk about any sector when you go, so they are been tagged as enterprise level business. Taking example, banking sector, telecommunication sector, or something
Yeah.
like what we say e-business products, we will say like internet products. We have eBay, Amazon. They all very big uh, this things. Okay, but what is this enterprise business computing is nothing but, see, taken a small example, we are holding a account in one bank. you know when you make any transaction within minutes, within seconds, I'm talking within seconds, you will get an intimation saying that you made this transaction from so and so center,
Yeah.
so and so machine, so and so browser, right? Okay, and nowadays if you change the browser also, you're getting a message.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if the last time I have browsed something from Firefox, now I am using something Chrome. Okay, or I am using some other thing. So definitely we are getting some message, and it is asking some
Yeah.
security questions. So this is been how it is being done, what kind of applications we are using. That is nothing but, this is enterprise level business computing softwares we call. So even we doesn't know about that names. Okay, see, I'm having lakhs of customers on in the banking sector. They have lakhs of customers to their bank. Some have saving accounts, some have a current account, some have demat accounts, some have some other accounts. Okay,
Right.
they schedule in such a way that every customer of this bank should get exactly at the second week a statement, a monthly statement, or whatever they define. It happens just like that with the help of this enterprise level business computing applications.
Yeah.
Okay, and to run this kind of applications, we need huge servers, huge resources that can run 24 by 7, even not even a one single second downtime. Okay,
Yeah.
such a kind of mission critical applications can be run 24 by 7 on AIX servers. That is the advantage here. The performance, the speed, everything is okay. That's the thing. And the
Yes.
latest version of AIX is right now, its latest version is 7.1. So the latest version of AIX is 6.1, and this version was made generally available in 2007. And the AIX 7.1 is the current version of AI 2010. It was available, and you know that any vendor.
7.1 or is it 7.2 now? Since
Actually, it is
7.2 is
7.2 is also in the market, and because as per this presentation, it is 7.1. I'm just telling you. 7.2 is in also market. Okay. So basically, when IBM or Red Hat or Oracle or any vendor they release their operating system, first they release the beta version. So after the beta version,
yeah.
they get into the original versions. And then when we talk about AIX overview, the first important thing is
Hmm.
LVM. We're talking about
Yeah.
LVM. LVM stands for Logical Volume Manager. So when I'm
Okay.
talking about Logical Volume Manager, so basically it is integrated into the AIX operating system from years. From years means I'm telling you, it is available from the starting versions of AIX.
Yeah.
Understand? See, for example, when you go for other flavors of Linux and Unix, first we have some default partitioning, and after this default partition is having a drawback, we will go for LVM or a RAID. Like this, we have. We have alternative
Right.
tools. But whereas when it
Right.
comes to AIX, when we go for AIX, there is only one storage tool that is called LVM. There is
Okay.
only
So by
one storage
default, when
tool. By default, LVM is there. That is the
okay.
reason when you are installing the operating system on AIX server, it is just given as root VG. It
Okay.
is just given as root VG. Okay, so AIX comes with an LVM, logical volume manager, integrated into operating system by default, and it is from years. And apart from this, AIX supports virtualization. Okay,
Okay.
so when I
Yes.
talk about virtualization, you know what is virtualization? Because to use the hardware very effectively, we go for virtualization. Virtualization means it divides the physical machine into many logical machine. That is called virtualization.
Yes.
Okay. So what we are going to do is when it comes to AIX, we have two types of virtualization. One is software level virtualization, one other one is hardware level virtualization. So when I talk
Yes.
about software level virtualization, that is known as LPAR. I mean, software level virtualization is called WPAR.
WR.
WPAR stands for workload partitions, it is called. And the hardware level virtualization is called LPAR. And you know, this LPARs was introduced in the AIX from fully, I mean, a full implementation is done from AIX 5.0 from P series servers. It has been implementation is done. Okay, and you know, hardware virtualization is nothing but with the help of these LPARs, we can virtualize three resources. One is CPU, second one is memory, and the third one is IO slots. Okay, like we have FCHBS, we have a RAID controllers, such a kind of IO adapters we can virtualize it. Okay, okay, this is the information. And for example, when you are working with LPAR, right? So if LPAR need a logical machine or a LPAR need a disk and network card, and this disk and network card will be virtualized with the help of VIO, virtual IO server. Okay, and this virtual IO server is the first partition on your AIXP series server. Understand? Okay, and this VIO can be an LPAR, it can be an LPAR, or it can be on a physical machine also. It's up to you how you want to design it. Okay, but most of the times it is recommended to be, it should be a first LPAR on your P series so that it will be easy for you to virtualize the disk and network. Okay,
Okay.
and next after this, like we have AIX supports newest hardware offerings such as 10 giga Ethernet adapters and 8 giga fiber channel adapters. Okay, getting it? 10 giga Ethernet adapters and 8 giga. Of course, you know this is a very old PPT. That's the reason. Right now, I'm just saying 8 GB, 8 giga. But you know, right now, it is supporting currently 16 giga fiber channel adapters and maybe by this year end, they are going to implement 32 gig fiber channel adapters also. Okay, and of course, all the latest hardwares are supported by AIX. There is no doubt about that. Okay, and AIX is compliant with the System V Unix system standards, and of course, not only AIX, all the Unix flavors are following the standards. Okay,
Yeah.
and AIX supports AIX provides advanced system security features at many levels. So yes, this is very important because there are so many types of securities like sticky bit, SetUID, SetGID, sudo, RBAC, and apart from all this thing, there is a security feature called TCB, Trusted Computing Address. So there are every level the security is there. Even AIX supports IP tables also. So IP tables is like a firewall. Okay,
Firewall.
so it allows the administrator to monitor inbound and outbound traffic and to control the inbound outbound traffic based on the port, based on the IP, based on the network, based on the protocol, he can control it. Okay, and AIX has advanced diagnostic application for hardware and software areas. So this is one of the beautiful tool of the AIX. DIAG, there is a tool called DIAG. So you have some
Okay.
problem with the software, you have some problem with the hardware. So without taking any downtime, okay, for the particular hardware or software, we can diagnostic that hardware and software with the help of DIAG tool. Okay, this is one of the
Okay.
benefit when it comes to the IX. And you don't have this kind of tool with any other Linux and Unix flavors. Okay, and when I come to the next slide here, AIX has lot of common in common with other proprietary Unix operating systems, and proprietary Unix operating systems typically differ with system admin tools and virtualization technology. Of course, wherever you go, you will find common system admin tools and common virtualization technology. See, when it comes to AIX, we are calling the LPAR, WPAR, and when you go
Yeah.
for Solaris, it is called zones and LDOMs. When you go for Linux, it is called KVM and Rhcb. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
so every operating system, yes, uh, they are going to find. Okay, and AIX comes with a journal file system. This is one of the
Yes.
beautiful file system that you never see in any other file system. People doesn't
Okay.
know how to increase a file system. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
in AIX, JFS file system used to allow us to increase the file system.
Okay.
Okay, see, like when the file system got full. Okay, most of the times
Uh-huh.
we used to face the problems of where file system is full, root file system is full, USR file system is full, home file system is full. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't have any other alternative in other Unix and Linux flavors because they are just sliced, partition. You can't go beyond that. You can't add this space to that slice. But in AIX,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have such a kind of issue at all. Okay,
Okay.
so whatever the
Yeah,
limit that is being provided by AIX, yes, tell me.
yeah, here means file systems means you, like for example, for example, slash var directory is full, then we can increase the slash var size,
No, I didn't get you.
right?
Come again, please.
Like increasing the file systems means like for example uh, directory or like slash var, we can increase that also,
Yes,
right?
yes, you can increase any file system. I'm telling you, right? You can increase
Mm-hmm.
var, you can increase USR, you can increase root, you can increase any file system. You can increase. There is no issue about that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, right? That's the information, right? So that's right. Okay. Now, basically, when it comes to AIX, come with a journal file system. So basically, there are two types of file system in AIX. One is JFS, another one is JFS2.
Okay.
JFS stands for Journal File System. JFS2 stands for Enhanced Journal File System. Okay, it is something called Enhanced Journal File System. So there are a lot of difference
Mm-hmm.
between JFS and JFS2. For example, JFS file system can only increase, you can't decrease it. For example, JFS2 file system, you can increase, you can decrease it.
Okay.
And it is going to support up to multi-terabyte and multi-petabyte file systems.
Okay.
Okay, so this is advantage here. And AIX provide integrated security auditing features, allow you to audit the system activities at a very garland level. Okay, this is one of the things. So most of the people they know that auditing is happens only at the accounts, okay, financial
Mm-hmm.
requirements. But no, everywhere the auditing will be done. Even you go to the Linux, AIX, Solaris, everywhere the auditing will be done. Okay,
Right.
auditing is nothing but they just compare the previous auditing, the current audit. What's the difference it has been there? So why this difference has been made? What made you to make
Mm-hmm.
this differences? They need some explanation. Okay, so
Okay.
that's the thing. And AIX provide integrated accounting system so that you can account for a user application uses resources on the system, especially useful for chargebacking the environment. Of course, so we are creating users groups. Normally we will create users and group. If you want, we can create a users and groups for us application groups also, so that they have their own privileges and they can go with the things. Okay. And apart from this, by default, AIX comes with an software component known as workload manager. So already we discussed.
Okay.
So this software allows you to logically divide a single AIX operating system into multiple classes of resources, a class by resources for application and
Mm-hmm.
users to run it. Okay, this is it.
Okay.
And we have something Power Hce. This is nothing but clusters.
Mm-hmm.
HACMP. So you know that right now when you go for 7.0 onwards, the
Mm-hmm.
HA software is by default provided by the operating system only. Okay, so
Okay.
you can just install and you can just configure it. Okay, so this provides high availability clusterings for the AI systems. So this provides automatic failover and failback configuration. So whenever you configure a cluster,
Okay.
by default, its default behavior is failover. Default behavior is
Okay.
failover. And of course,
Okay.
AIX supports a concept called failback also. Okay,
So
failback means,
power for yeah, so for power actually it says like as per this slide that we need to purchase this power actual software license
yes, yes, you
separately.
have to purchase it. You have to buy this
Okay.
license. And without buying this license, we can't. Of course, we can install it, we can configure it, but it gives a limited features there.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the thing.
Mhm.
So and this provide product does not come with AIX by default, and you must purchase it separately. But up to 6.0 only it is like this. But from 7.0, you can see this
Okay.
software in your machine. And by default, AIX come with a system monitoring tool. This is very important thing because most of the time when
Okay.
you go for Linux and other flavors of Unix, even in AIX also before this tool, we used to use a lot of monitoring tools like Nagi OS, other tools,
Yeah.
VMC monitoring tools like this we used to use. What is the purpose of these tools? This using these tools we used to monitor the health of your CPU, memory, disk, and network. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
why? Because if the utilization goes move beyond the limits, that is nothing but 80%, 90%, and 100%, it is crossing. So what happens? System doesn't know what to do. It immediately crash and it reboots. Because of that reason, we
Yeah.
will be facing a downtime, right? And at the same time, if I'm having a very small environment, I'm having only 30, 40 servers, AIX servers, and my company doesn't have that much economy to buy the that monitoring tools.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big problem, right? I can't monitor by sitting 24 by 7 at the front of the server, right? Yes or no?
Okay.
For that reason, AIX is providing this system monitoring tool with the name called RMC, Resources Monitoring and Control Tool. And this
Okay.
tool, you can just, you're getting going to get this with your operating system. You can just install it and you can define the events and you can define the limitations there and you can just leave it. And whenever the threshold value we call, when the threshold value is crossed, it immediately generates an automatic email to the system admin or to a ticketing tool to your mobile like this it is coming. So when these tickets come to us, immediately we will try to take an action on that and we will try to log in and we will try to work on that. So this is one of the advantage when you go for the system admin tool, system monitoring. And AIX comes with a backup utility. So this is one of the best tool that we are going to use in AIX. So MKS has been as nothing but make system backup. So you know that
Mm-hmm.
when we install AIX operating system on a disk, and that particular disk is named, we are not calling it a disk. We should not call it as a disk. We should call it as a PV. PV stands for physical volume. In
Okay.
AIX, we never call disk as a disk. It should call as PV. So on a PV
Okay.
where we install operating system, it is named as root VG. Okay,
Okay.
so the entire operating system will boot and run from the root VG only. Okay,
Okay.
so we are going to take that root VG backup with the help of make system backup. And
Mm-hmm.
make system backup is a utility that will allow you to create a bootable system image or system
Okay.
backup. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and which you will use for system disaster recovery scenarios. Suddenly server
Okay.
crashed. You can use that image to recover it within 15-20 minutes. You can recover the entire machine.
Okay.
Okay, for that scenarios we can do, and this MKCSB backup can be performed based on the tape, based on the CDs, based on the DVDs, and you can put it
Mm-hmm.
on the file systems. You can do, and you can put this MKCSB into the NIM network installation manager, and you can just perform the remote installations on hundreds of machines. Okay, so that's the thing.
Okay.
And AI,
Using the using that means image file, right?
yes, yes.
Uh,
I got a requirement saying that I am going to create 100 LPARs, and my
yeah.
client has provided me some requirements saying that this 100 LPARs should have a common configuration, common
Okay.
packages, common
Yeah. Yeah.
informations. So what I will
Mm-hmm.
do, I will not install all the 100 machines, right, individually. I
Yeah.
will just install
Yeah.
one machine. I will prepare everything, and I will take the MKSSB backup of that machine and put it into the, yeah,
Right.
put it into the NIM, and from the NIM I will
Right.
push into the 100 servers. So what
Yeah.
happens? All these 100 servers get installed within 1 hour, within 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Advantage,
Yeah.
right? This is it.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
And next, AIX comes with another backup utility called backup. So
Mm-hmm.
this backup is a utility that helps us in taking the file system backup. And this command allows you to backup at a file and a directory level. The counterpart to this command is to restore. Okay, there's nothing but backup command is to take the backup, and restore command is to take the, restore the data. Okay, and which
Okay.
allow you to restore the files and directories you backed up with the backup command. Okay, this is one of the things, because this VG backups is nothing but taking entire VG backup. Okay, but if I don't have a important data on the whole VG, I'm having important data only on one logical volume, then we have to use this backup and restore to take backup and restore it. And AIX comes with its own software management subsystems for softwares, and it can be managed software inventories for both LPP format softwares and RPM. So this is one of the things. So whatever the softwares that is being provided by IBM, okay, that all will be in LPP format. That is called license program product. Okay, and apart from this, even AIX supports RPM. Okay, so
Okay.
why AIX is supporting RPM? RPM stands for Red Hat Package Manager, right? What is the use?
Yeah.
See, basically, when I talk about AIX version 5, version
Mm-hmm.
5. Actually, version
Mm-hmm.
5 is called version 5L. Okay,
Okay.
L stands for Linux Affinity.
Okay.
Linux Affinity.
Great.
So what happened here is, when I say Linux Affinity, it is not going to support
Mm-hmm.
the entire Linux RPMs on AIX.
Right.
Okay, so what it is going to support, what IBM has done is they have chosen some packages from Red Hat, from the Linux,
Okay.
and they
Okay.
certified it. They certified it.
Okay.
Okay, only that certified packages can be installed on AIX.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
most of the people they
yeah.
get confused here. When I'm saying Linux Affinity, immediately they
Mm-hmm.
download the Linux DVD, they install all the packages they will install, because Linux is providing so many open source tools there, free of cost.
Yeah.
So people
Right.
think in such a way, okay, boss, I need SQL packages. It is there in Linux DVD, install it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want some other
So there
tools.
should be yeah, there should be some list of all these packages,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes, it
On
is there. There is a CD introduced by the IBM with the name called AIX Linux Toolbox for AIX.
okay,
Linux
Linux tool.
Toolbox for AIX.
Okay.
So they certified nearly a 500 to 600 packages,
Mm-hmm.
and they are putting into this Linux Toolbox for AIX, and they are giving it to the vendor. They are giving it to the clients. Even we don't get
Okay.
this CD also, not a problem. You can directly go to the Red Hat site. It is free of cost. You can download it. You can start using it.
Yeah.
Okay, for example, when you go for AIX, the default shell in AIX is Con shell KSH.
Okay.
Okay, KSH, Con shell it is called.
Okay. Oh,
Okay,
KSX. So
KS,
like in Linux and all, they
Bash,
have Bash, right?
Bash. So, for example, I want to use Con shell, but I'm having
Mm-hmm.
some new users. They feel very much difficulty to use this Con shell. My client requested to
Oh,
just avail bash shell, but AIX is not providing bash shell. Then where I have to get it? Then what they are
okay.
doing is, that is the reason AIX IBM has taken some packages from Linux and they are certifying it and they are providing it as a Linux toolbox for AIX. And in this
Oh,
toolbox we find bash package. You can install this bash package and you can just avail the bash.
yeah. It is
Understand?
always the bash package also,
Yes.
right?
So that's the reason I'm telling. Okay. So this is the thing.
Yeah.
And this
Okay.
is the thing. AIX, starting with AIX 5.1, Linux Affinity is integrated into the operating system. So media comes with AIX is called Linux Application Toolbox for AIX, or Linux Toolbox for AIX.
Yeah.
Contain
Kumar,
yes. Mm-hmm.
sorry to interrupt you. Can you
Tell
please
me.
hold on for a minute, please?
Okay.
Just a minute, please.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm coming back.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes. Tell
Yeah.
me. So
Is that
yeah.
yeah.
So the media, whatever it is being provided, that is called Linux Application Toolbox for AIX. And you can see this
Mm-hmm.
media are also available for free download via internet from the IBM. And this media contains IBM certified Linux application compiled to run on the power systems. And
Okay.
using RPM command you can install.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you can use the AIX proprietary command will be there, like install p command. Some commands are there. Using that commands also we can install it. Okay,
Okay.
so this is a advantage here. So, and this is all the AIX versions there is to. So basically AIX has started releasing the operating systems in the market from 1986 onwards. Okay, so it's a very old operating system. Even Linux came into the market from 1991. Okay, so it's a very old operating system that was available. Okay, IBM is a very old company. They have so many proprietary things. They have a proprietary hardware, they have a proprietary topologies, they have a proprietary protocols. Okay, and IBM is the first
Yeah.
company that is introduced virtualization.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's the one important, because in mainframes they started virtualizing the memory virtualization they introduced, process virtualization they used. So this is all made okay, but people doesn't know at that time what is virtualization. In 1970s only they released they have come up with this virtualization. This is one of the
Oh.
advantage. And this is the total 20 over 20 years, but it is not 20 years. I mean, of course you can see this 86, 96, 2006, 2016,
Mm-hmm.
almost 30 years it is happened. So as the versions have been released in the market, the features been keep on increasing. Okay,
Yeah.
so those are things. So yes. And it's a word on Linux. So basically you know that how the Linux came into the market. Okay, the first Linux kernel was developed by Linus Torvald. Okay, and you know that Linux is called Unix-like operating system.
Yeah.
Why it is called? Because it is being brought from the Unix. Who brought it?
Yeah.
This Linus Torvald only brought it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the thing, and So this is all the things, and uh, this is the thing. And let us go with the hardware. So this is all the hardware how it looks. IBM power line servers. So we are just
Okay.
thinking about power 6, but right now in the market we have a power 7 also. Even power 8
Mm-hmm.
also getting. I mean, it's going to get. I mean it is there also. I think in the market.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. So basically, we will be getting two types of servers. One is rack mounted, another one is tower based servers. But you know that no
Yeah.
one is using this tower based servers because it consumes more space. So people are using
Yes,
this
right.
rack mounted servers only. Okay. So those are things. So 550 express edition. Those are things. 560. And did you heard something about um, scalability of the servers? Okay, see, like
Yeah. Yeah.
physically you can keep on adding. There is a concept called one master server will be there, and
Okay.
it has some secondary servers, master and secondary or primary or secondary servers we have. So the primary
Right.
server will be an intelligent server, okay,
Okay.
and the secondary servers will be dummy servers. Dummy means it doesn't have any intelligence. It only contains CPU and memory resources. That's it, and power supplies.
Okay.
So what happens
Mm-hmm.
when we talk about scalability? When the
Mm-hmm.
primary server is there, when you are running it, we are putting some
Mm-hmm.
application and you're running it, and it is running from last 1 year. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now I came to know that resources is insufficient. Okay, I want to add some
Okay.
more resources. But when I talk about this
Okay.
primary machine, maximum resources we filled up.
Okay.
Okay, so what we have to do? Okay, either we have to buy some other IN server, we have to migrate the entire thing from this old server to the new server.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we can't do anything. But when it comes to the IBM, there is one solution. Okay, what is the
Mm-hmm.
solution is we have a secondary server side. We can physically plug to the primary and it keep on scales.
Okay.
Okay, it's this kind of
Yeah.
feature you have in AIX. This is advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Means
so
it's taking the hardware resources of the
secondary,
second dummy one from
secondary, and
dummy
it,
one from
yes,
yeah.
dummy one. It will add it to the primary. So primary is having four processors and something 100 GB
Right.
RAM, and the secondary is
Right.
having four processors and 100 GB RAM. So this 100 GB and
Right.
four processors will be added to the primary. That means eight processors and 200 GB RAM it will become. And
Correct.
you can add
Correct.
it that dynamically, not even
Mm-hmm.
taking 1 single second downtime. So this kind of features is there with IBM.
Yeah. Yeah. I've
Okay.
also heard that I've also heard that means not even for example if we talk about CPU usage,
Uh-huh.
so it doesn't even waste a single amount of
Ah, yes,
CPU processing involved, right?
yes. Actually, this concept is introduced by IBM. When you're doing
Yeah. Yeah.
virtualization, take an example, we are doing virtualization on VMware. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In VMware, there is no concept of dividing the processor into decimal.
Right. Right.
Okay. But when it comes to the AIX, you can divide the processor into decimal.
Yeah.
Okay. So this kind of feature is only available in AIX. Of course, nowadays it is coming with some other. If you go for cloud, you can divide the resources in decimal.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, if you go for
Only in decimal.
VMware Cloud also, if you go to AWS also, if you go for
Mm-hmm.
OpenStack also, even if you go for IBM Smart Cloud also, okay,
Yeah.
so you can divide it in decimal. That means very effectively. And nowadays, resources are dynamically allocated. I'm having 10
Yes.
machines. Okay, on these 10 machines, we distributed equally resources. Okay,
Yeah.
but only on two machines, 90% of resources are used. And another eight machines, only 40%, 50% it is used. So when these
Right.
two machines need the resources, it dynamically pulls out the resources from the other eight machines and add it here and it will use it. It is called resources
Yes.
pools that is being used. Okay, that's the advantages we have. Okay, and
Okay.
this is a P6 595. It's a very high-end
Mm-hmm.
server in the P series. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and when we talk about P7, so this is uh, IBM Power Line servers P7
Okay.
with
Which one we are having? Like we
right
have
now we are working on P5. Okay,
P5. So
P5.
we have the P5 with you,
Yes,
right?
P5 520. It says an enter. entry-level server on P5.
Okay.
It's an entry-level server
Okay.
for P5. Okay,
Okay.
that's the thing. And this is a low-end server which supports 64 GB of memory, and it supports up to one processor with 3.7 gigahertz of processor and 6 core processor, Power 7 processors. Okay, and HMC and Power VM capabilities are there, and other processor options. This is the things. So either you can go with one processor with 4 core, or you can go with 8 core also maximum. It depends on you. So
HMC stands for,
hardware management console.
okay, hardware
Okay,
management console.
getting it. This is the thing, and basically, if you want to access this P series servers, definitely we need HMC. Okay,
Okay.
but if you don't have HMC, can we access this P series servers? Okay, most of the people they say no, but there is another alternative that is called IVM. IVM stands for
Okay.
Integrated Virtual Machine. So this
Okay.
IVM is a feature of VIO,
Okay.
virtual IO. There is a virtual IO server when you install, and it is going to generate a feature called IVM. So you can connect
Okay.
this virtual IO with the help of IVM feature using browser.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But
Yeah. But
all the time,
that's
yes,
that's like ILO, right?
it's not ILO. Yeah, we can compare like ILO only, but it is more than ILO.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but all
Okay.
the time you have to remember one thing: when you have HMC only, we can do very effectively administration.
Okay.
Okay, if we don't have HMC, then
Uh-huh.
the people get handicapped because there are so many administration tasks. Uh,
Uh-huh.
Monitorings, everything can be done through the HMC only. It's always recommended to go with HMC.
Okay.
Okay,
So what
because
are
you
the
see,
like
if one,
what are
yes,
what are the basic means requirements, or like what is the thing for HMC?
HMC is one physical box.
Okay.
HMC
HMC.
OS we call HMC
Okay.
OS. So
Okay.
HMC OS is a physical block, like your Dell server contain ID rack,
Okay.
HP server contain loam, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what
Mm-hmm.
happened here, this Dell and HP servers, they are not
Mm-hmm.
depending on any other server, right, for
Okay.
management. So what they did
Mm-hmm.
is on the server, on the motherboard only, they designed one service processor, and this service processor is
Okay.
integrated with the loam. Understand?
Okay.
So when you just plug in the power cable, you can connect to the service processor using this LOM or ID rack,
Mm-hmm.
right? But whereas when it comes to the AIX, we also have HMC port on every server. Okay,
Okay.
but that HMC port only allows us to power on, power off, or to see the hardware configurations.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? Or to change the first boot device or second boot device, or to change HMC IP addresses. You can do this much only. For example, if you really
Okay.
want to create LPAR, DLPAR administration, you can't do
Mm-hmm.
it. Why? Because you need to connect this P series servers to the HMC.
Okay.
Okay, for example, you talk about DHCP. What is mean by DHCP? Dynamic Host Control Protocol. See, when you power
Yes.
on the machine, how the DHCP offers the IP address? First,
Yeah.
from my client machine, there will be a packet broadcast to the DHCP server. When DHCP
Yeah.
server gets this request, okay, the
Mm-hmm.
agent of the DHCP server job is to offer the pool of IP address by registering the MAC address.
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
when it registers the MAC address and it gives a pool of IP addresses, it will give a pool of IP address. It will give 20 or 10 pools of IP address, and within
Yes.
that pool, okay,
Mm-hmm.
the client will select one IP address. It matches, and when it selects that IP address, this acknowledgement again goes to the DHCP server, registers in the DHCP server saying that with this MAC address, this IP address is registered. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, at the same time, when we have a P series server, when we have a HMC box, we have to
Mm-hmm.
discover this P series servers by putting the IP range.
Okay.
Okay, otherwise, this P series server will have some static address. Using that static
Uh-huh.
address, we need to discover this server and map it onto the HMC.
Okay.
See, whatever the configuration you're going to see here, that you're going to see on that HMC.
Okay.
Okay, see small example. When you put a pen drive on your laptop, what
Mm-hmm.
happens? It will say so and so pen drive connected. This is the capacity of the pen drive. This is a file system we have.
Yes.
Yes or no? When you remove the pen drive, there is no configuration.
Right.
Yes or no? Here also, when you map this server to the HMC, the entire
Mm-hmm.
configuration of this server will be shown on HMC.
Okay.
Understand? That's the advantage. For example, you map the SAN LAN. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When you map the SAN storage. Okay. So for example, we
Mm-hmm.
have a WWN number, right? We provide this WWN number to the storage guy. The storage guy will
Okay.
divide a 5 TB LAN into 5 TB storage into 5 LANs. Okay.
Okay.
When you run some commands to detect the storage, okay, then
Mm-hmm.
only it will map there. Then only it will show there. Okay, here also
Okay.
same, right? So this is a very important thing. So this is also another IBM power line server P7 720. This is the con. So when the model gets changed, automatically the configuration keep on increases here. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so this is the thing, and this is a technology. So this is also one low-end server which contains 128 GB of memory, and you know, so this is the things. So this is another server. This also comes under low-end server, and this also comes under low-end server 7550, and this is something called mid-range server. Up to four building blocks. This is called, I will say, building blocks. One will be a
Mm-hmm.
primary block, and rest of the three will be a just secondary blocks to the primary. Okay,
Okay.
so like this. So initially, if you need these four building blocks, you can buy it. If you don't need these four building blocks, you can buy two, and later on you can keep on adding. Okay,
Okay.
this is the thing. Hmm. And this is a mid-range server with 512 GB of RAM and up to two 4.1 gigahertz of processor for four core processor it is. Okay,
Okay.
so this is the thing, and this is totally high end. So most powerful Unix server, 8 TB of memory and up to 32
Mm-hmm.
into 4 gigahertz. 32 processors we have, and each processor is having a capability of scaling 8 core. Okay, 32
Mm-hmm.
into 8. So you know it is almost 256 processor, 256 core of processor it is going to have. Okay, so in some environment they are using this server. It's very costly. I'm telling you, very very costly. Okay, so this is a thing, and this is all blade servers. You know, blade centers.
Yeah.
We call blade centers. So this is called blade center. So on this
Right.
blade centers, you will have all the blades. Each blade is going to act one server. So this is a
Mm.
IBM blade centers. It is, and this is all the history because this is the first version of AIX machine. How it looks, you can see this. So it's they used to have only the black screen with white letters. Okay, but later on from this machine onwards, they introduced graphics. We used to get common desktop environment, CD. Okay, so this is the information. Understood up to here, right? So we will be discuss this in the coming sessions. Tomorrow session we will discuss. So right now I'm going to stop the session here.
Okay.
Okay, right? So understood up to here, right? The overview of AIX.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so these are things, and tomorrow we will discuss this features, all the hardware. Just we will just have a look, and
Mm-hmm.
we will be discussing about HMC first. I'll
Okay.
give you a detailed information about HMC, how HMC work,
Okay.
what features HMC is going to be. I will just try to connect one HMC box, and I will show you how the console looks, what
Okay.
configurations we can do from there. All these things I will give you clear details. And
Mm-hmm.
once we complete HMC, and then
Okay.
we will go with
Mm.
the what we say uh, installation. We will discuss the theory part of
Okay.
installation, then we will discuss the
Mm-hmm.
practical part of installation, and when we go with the installation, I will try to show you how many methods we have for going for installation. Once you can
Okay.
go with the HMC, you can go with HMC serial console. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so how many ways we have, I will be giving you that. That's all
Okay.
it is. Okay,
Okay.
fine.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not. Yeah, by this introduction, like I'm not pretty sure about this HMC. I got an overview what
no,
HMC is.
tomorrow I will give you, by putting some diagrams, I will give you a clear picture about HMC.
Okay.
So
Okay. No problem.
I will give you a clear information about HMC. Do you work on VMware? Are you a
VMware,
VMware?
no.
No idea, right? Fine, no problem.
No.
I will tell you. I'll give you a clear information about that, how it is going
Okay.
to work, how
Yeah.
HMC is going to work. I will give a clear picture. Tomorrow,
Okay.
by giving you some diagrams, by putting some PPTs, I can give you a clear picture how the HMC is going to work.
Okay.
So
Sure.
don't worry about that. Without understanding HMC, we will not get into other sessions, because that is a
Okay.
major thing. Because
Okay.
you go for
Oh. All
any
right.
AIX administration, first you should know what is
Mm-hmm.
HMC. Like
Okay. Okay.
you are right now
Okay.
confident about loam when it comes to HP mission.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know how to access loam. Did you access
No.
anytime
Uh,
loam?
sorry, I didn't get you. Low.
Loam, HP, remote consoles we say, right? Remote console.
Okay.
Loam,
Remote
light out
controls.
manager it is called, LOM. Not aware
No.
of
The
that?
for HP. No.
Okay,
Not.
tomorrow I will give you a
Uh,
total information about that. Tomorrow
yeah. Because
I
this is
will,
low is for HP, right?
yes, I will ask you one question.
Y-
If a server
Yeah.
is not powered on, can we power on it from my place? Server is at your place and I'm sitting here. It is not powered on, it
No.
is just plugged in. Can we power on it?
No. We cannot.
Then I will show you tomorrow how to power on that. Okay,
Okay.
that's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
Right? There's so much technology is there. I mean, of course, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not saying that everyone should know everything, because we have limit in the real times. See, when I was
All right.
working with IBM 6 years back,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Yeah.
really I don't have any limitation there. I used to work on everything. I used to
Okay.
work with backups. I used to work with storage guy. I used to work with tickets. I used to work with securities.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but nowadays in the current environment, for everyone there is a limit. Okay,
Yeah.
if my team leader says that you have to work only on tickets, and that two
Yeah.
tickets are four types: priority one, priority two, priority three, priority four, and he will say that you
Yeah.
have to only handle priority four and priority three. If something is
Yeah.
coming beyond that, escalate to that particular team, they're sitting there.
Yeah.
Okay, so because of these limits, we are not able to learn.
Yeah. You can say that.
Yes, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Even I
Yeah.
go to my client place, right? I'm
Right.
supporting some clients. See, they just call for that particular
Mm-hmm.
specific problem only. Okay, then
Yeah.
I am an
Exactly.
outsider. When I am an outsider, when I want to work on
Mm-hmm.
some problem, I should know in and out of that particular problem.
Right. Right.
So they will say, "This is a problem. Please give me a solution." Okay, I will give a solution. I came here to give a solution, but I should
Yeah.
know. See, I'll go to a doctor saying that I have a stomach pain or a headache. First, he will ask you, "Okay, what did you eat yesterday?
Right.
Did you eat something spicy food?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, did your diet change yesterday? Have you done your dinner late or lunch late? Yes or no?" So until unless he will not diagnostic us, he will not check us, he will not gather some information us, he will not writing any medicine for us, right? He will not
Yeah.
put any.
Correct.
So this is also same thing. But in some environments, really the people, we have a lot of gap between the management and technical people.
Right.
Okay, so there is a
Exactly.
problem happen. The management, the team leader that is not strong in technical, you know,
Mm-hmm.
he will treat all the technical employees as his office boys only.
Right.
I'm telling,
Yeah.
I face this
That's
kind
right.
of problems everywhere when I go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
When I describe
That's
any
yeah.
problem, he is not able to
Yeah.
he is not able to listen to my problem. He is not able to get my terminology, and such a kind of guy I need to answer them. Okay,
Okay.
simply sometimes I used to write pages of data about the problem description to him, and he will read all these things like a paper. He will read it and he will inform his management.
Yes.
Okay, he will say ABC, and management will understand XYZ. Okay, like this it happens.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of gap between the technical people and the management. Okay, that
Right.
is the reason people always recommend a team leader and project manager should be purely technical.
Correct.
That is the reason,
Correct.
there is a lot of gap between project manager and team leader also. Project manager will be
Right.
off
Right.
technical, off management,
Yes.
but team leader
Yes.
is fully technical.
Yes.
So the employees will patch up the team leader will patch up the project manager, and project manager will be able to patch up the management.
Yes.
This gap is been filled like this.
Yes.
So there are a lot of things are there. Because you're working in some project, you have a limitation. But after a few
Yes.
days, like after 1 year or 2 year, 3 years, if you come out and you are working as a consultant, or you are working in such a project where you have no limits, you can interact with
Yes.
everyone. Okay, see, so then you will get a scope. See, we used to interact with HR guys also, because they have a
Right.
candidate. We need to do interview.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they used to provide. There's so many people in the project, but the HR will say that whoever technically sounds, for them only they
Yes.
will put the profile, because
Right.
the candidate from our place should be in such a position to play with other candidates.
Yeah.
So like this it is to. Okay, so that's the thing happens, right? So so many things are there. Okay, so definitely I will give you detailed information about HMC, all these things. Okay,
Okay.
you
Sure.
can
Sure.
stop. I mean, I'm stopping the